That's one thing I think, honestly, all three consoles have been behind in terms of like how do they integrate with sort of Facebook and Twitter. I mean, I guess PlayStation's probably the furthest ahead with some of the stuff you can post to Facebook, but it's amazing how they're sort of such a walled off garden.
Yeah, they try to reach out for that, but they reached out by just creating their own apps for iOS and stuff like that. Which some of those are useful as far as that ecosystem is concerned.
Sure.
But yeah,
they're more like workarounds.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, meanwhile, the PS4 friends list goes up to 2,000, but if you have over 200 or something like that, it's so slow to load that it's useless on the console.
All these things are difficult to navigate. Yeah. I can't even tell who's online most of the time on my Xbox One anymore, so I just give up. I don't even look at it.
Yeah. Right, and that's the kind of thing is, on PC or on Steam or something like that, it's much easier to see all that stuff. So when you look at Nintendo and what they're going to do at E3 this year, they're doing the Smash Brothers tournament, they're doing the digital event, there's, talk of other things that they're doing throughout the week. What could stand out? I mean, is it, obviously with this core audience, the announcement of a big new game, is that enough, Jeff?
No. Okay. They're at a point now where they kind of have to cater to their faithful, and I think a lot of their faithful is already on board. Announcing a new, like bringing back a long dormant franchise doesn't necessarily change the conversation for them because, everyone who would like that would already go like, well, I need to get the Mario and Zelda machine anyway.
Right.
I agree that they need something that is wider. Like if they want to catch on again, they need something with the mainstream appeal of a Wii Sports.
They tried, Wii Fit U, I think came out, although.
Yeah, but that's not the, like even, Wii Fit, I think, worked because that crowd was already in on the Wii, it's not something that sells a system on its own. So I think that they're less relevant than they used to be, and it's sad to say that. But I think it's just more clear now than it ever has been that the people that are interested in that console are specifically interested in those games, and they're okay. Either giving up all of that third-party stuff or getting it elsewhere. Like I'd be really curious to. Look at some survey results and go like, how many people just own a Wii U? And that's where they play all their games. Yeah. And I bet that's an exceedingly small number.
Well, I've heard there are even some stats out there about how the owners of Xbox One and PS4, there's a huge crossover even of that. So there are a lot of people that own sort of both those machines apparently.
That makes sense. Like it's an early adopter thing. You're just like, first year, you're like, I got to have everything.
I'm going to have both. So I think so. It's actually surprising how people go with that, but you're right. I think to just have a Wii U and not the other systems is
that's not
probably.
You're not playing video games very often.
Well, and also there's just not that many games coming out, right? And now it's like you look at, what is like maybe 4 or 5 big games a year. Although, honestly, you look at Xbox and PlayStation right now, and it's like, there are not that many games coming out. I mean, it's hard to name the next big game for Xbox or PlayStation over the summer.
I think the advantage for Nintendo is that it's like I think it's they've got the advantage of being like perfect for couch play. Right. So you can invite a bunch of people over, and it's like a party system, and that's great. And there are probably people out there who only want to game with friends around when they're having some sort of gathering. So it makes sense in that way. But I don't think that necessarily sells Wii U's. Like nobody's thinking to themselves like, oh, I need to. Technical Twister version on in my media center right now.
And like you remember Nintendo TV, and there were a bunch of things they tried and talked about, which people aren't using. But I think to me like that quality of life initiative that they keep talking about. I don't know what that's going to be, but everyone's coming out with wearables, and it's like there's talk of the iWatch and things like that. It'll be really interesting to see what that is for Nintendo, which seems like a broadening play. But I don't know if it's not clear to me if that's something that will require a Wii U or will be a completely separate system.
And how is that different from the other stuff that's already on the market? I mean, Nike's kind of getting out of the kind of fitness wearable hardware side and going strictly into software. Yeah. But like Razer, the peripheral manufacturer, they've got a Fitbit clone thing. Like, what? Why? What do you... Yeah. Do you want to know how long I'm sitting here playing World of Warcraft? Is that what we're tracking now? Is that? Oh, that's not so good.
Well, we'll see. I'm sure Reggie's got something for us coming.
It's not Urban Champion 2, apparently, so I'm out.
I know they tease that, but who knows? Maybe Mother 3.
Sure.
Finally coming out. All right, well, Nintendo's digital event happens on Tuesday, June the 10th, and you'll be able to watch that on GameTrailers. And when we come back next week, we will wrap things up for E3 by talking about the big games we're expecting at the show.